up on Sports Paws. Both hockey teams have a chance to climb up the national rankings while the race for first in the MAC gets tighter. Also, a few former QU hockey players rise in the spotlight. Find out who right now on Sports Paws. Hello everyone and welcome to Sports Paws. I'm Giovanni.
And I'm Bailin, and Gio, we finally got ourselves dug out of the snow.
Right, you are, Arthur. And while we dug ourselves out of the snow, the women's and men's ice hockey teams dug themselves into a huge hole.
But during the weekend, men's and women's basketball solidified themselves as a force in the MAC.
Agreed, Arthur, and we'll get to that later, but let's get things rolling with men's ice hockey.
After 2 games on the road, the Bobcats were back home against Clarkson. Quinnipiac comes off an 8-1 victory at Dartmouth, while Clarkson, on the other hand, was coming off a loss against Union and standing 17th in the pairwise rankings, 1 spot out of qualifying for the NCAA tournament. A win in this top 20 matchup would go a long way for the Golden Knights' quest for the big dance. Well, Quinnipiac will take on Clarkson at the High Point Solutions Arena on Friday night. Now, in the first period, Connor Jones will take the puck 10 seconds in, and he'll beat the goaltender Vila Runola, and he will get the Bobcats up 1-0, and Connor Jones will be the first player in NCAA history to score 2 goals within 10 seconds of the start of the game. Now, moving on moments later, Matthew Peck will get a nice pass from Travis St. Denis, and it will be 2-0 just like that. Now, moving on to second period, Clarkson's Alan McPherson will get a rebound past Michael Gartig, and it will be 2-2. But Quinnipiac will respond as Corey Hibbler gets the puck past the goaltender, and it is 3-2. And Matthew Pekka will get the rebound off of Jordan Samuels-Thomas' shot, and it'll be 4-2. But James DeHaas will make it very interesting as he gets the shot past Gartig, and it will be 4-3. But Quinnipiac would respond as Bryson Brabant gets the goal, and it'll be 5-3. And then Kellen Jones gets the goal. 6-3 will be the final score as the team congratulates Michael Gartig. Bobcats will win 6-3.
After the Bobcats picked up the victory against the Golden Knights, the Saints came marching into the High Point Solutions Arena and pulled off a huge upset, defeating Quinnipiac 3-2. The Bobcats started off the game on a high note when junior Matthew Pekka scored his 3rd goal in 2 games. With the game tied at 2 in the 3rd period, the Saints scored off a power play as Justin Baker sniped one from the point past Michael Gartig. The win is the 11th this season for St. Lawrence. Quinnipiac will return to action Friday as they head to New Haven to square off against conference rival Yale for the 2nd national championship game rematch of the season.
But Gio, before they visit New Haven, we must look at the standings. After the Bobcats split the weekend, the polls were less than forgiving. Quinnipiac dropped 1 spot to number 4 in the USCHO.com poll. They are tied for that spot with Ferris State at the bottom of the poll. Boston College overtook Minnesota for the top spot. They garnered 47 first-place votes. Looking at the ECAC hockey standings, Quinnipiac is now 3 points behind the first-place Dutchman of Union College. Colgate is 2 points behind Quinnipiac in 3rd place. Cornell and Clarkson are tied for 4th with 20 points. They are 3 points behind Quinnipiac. And we'll welcome our hockey analyst, Colin Babcock, to the studio. Colin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Arthur?
I'm doing well. And Colin, the men's ice hockey team suffered a major loss this weekend. What went wrong for them?
Well, Arthur, what happened was the Bobcats, they got a little bit too comfortable in the game. They led for most of it 2-1, and then as the 3rd period came around, they got a little bit lazy, and they started to count on Michael Gartig to come up and make saves. And they gave up too many odd man rushes, and when you do that, St. Lawrence had good looks from the high slot and were able to bury him past Michael Gartig.
Now, Jordan Samuels-Thomas didn't dress for the game on Saturday. How much of an impact was that in that game?
Yeah, he got a little dinged up in that Clarkson game, so he wasn't out there with the normal 3rd-line set. But, you know, the offense needs to become a lot more consistent. They've been inconsistent at times. They scored, 6 goals, and then they, only put up 1 the next night. They put up 6 against Clarkson, and then they only put up 2 against St. Lawrence. They need to figure it out, and they need to get back to the basics and they need to get that first line rolling with Kellen, Connor, and Sam Annis.
Well, Colin, you speak of inconsistent offense. Matthew Pekka has scored 3 goals in 2 games. What has been the secret behind his success so far?
Well, Gio, he is starting to light it up with, as you mentioned, 7 points in 3 games. And the real reason for it is Travis St. Dennis. He is the workhorse on that line. He goes deep down behind the net. He's always working, bumping bodies, not afraid to get his nose in there. And he passed that puck, as you saw in that highlight, to Pekka for that goal. So he's really the one that's been setting up Pekka and helping him out on that second line.
Now, Colin, it's a little bit early to start looking at pairwise rankings, but if you look at the pairwise rankings today, Quinnipiac currently sits in 5th, and the reason that's significant is they are now out of a first seed spot. They will be the highest second seed in the tournament. How much of an impact will that have in a possible tournament run?
Well, Arthur, that'll have a huge impact, because if you're a 1 seed, what the league tries to do is try and position you somewhere close to home where you're playing as a 1 seed. But now they become a 2 seed right now if the playoffs started today in that bracket, and they could be traveling, who knows, Minnesota or Cincinnati. They really don't know, and they couldn't have that home crowd behind them to travel.
Well, the reason why they have become a high 2 seed is because they lost 2 games that they should have won against Merrimack and recently St. Lawrence. So, Colin, how much do you think an impact of them playing to the level of their opponent is going to hurt them or excel them when it comes to tournament time?
Well, Gio, right now it's definitely hurting them. It's coming close to the playoff time, and they really need to pick it up, and they want to go on a run heading into the playoffs. And when you lose at home to a team that is lower ranked than you, the pairwise factors that in even greater. Home losses hurt more than away losses. So that loss against St. Lawrence really hurt them, and that's why you saw them move down in the rankings.
Now, Colin, Michael Gartic led in 3 goals in both games this weekend. Are you concerned at all about Gartic's performance?
Arthur, I'm not really so concerned about it. I mean, it is something to keep your eye on right now, but the main reason that that's happening is the defense. They've not picking up pucks. They're not picking up sticks in front of the net. You take a look at that defensive core, there's only 1 senior, not a lot of experience, and they're still trying to get it together. Those looks that are going in on Gartig are coming from good quality places, good one-timers, and the defense needs to step up their game to help out Gartig.
All right, Colin, thanks for stopping by, and we'll be taking our first break. But coming up ahead, both basketball squads play important home conference games to climb up in the MAC regular season standings. We'll bring you the action, and Tom Albanese will stop by to give insight on what it all means. Don't go anywhere. Sports Paws. We'll be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Half a game. This is how far the men's basketball team is ahead of the Rider Broncs in the MAC regular season standings. You may remember that it was Rider who delivered QU their first MAC loss in program history a few months ago down in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. But this time, the Broncs come to Hamden, where the Bobcats are 13-2 in their last 15 home games. With the conference up for grabs, both teams look to gain a leg up. But before we see what happened in the game, men's basketball analyst Tom Albanese is here to give us his 3 keys to the game for the Bobcats. Tom, what do you have?
Well, Gio, let's start with this. The Bobcats need to defend hard against Rider. Their 3 top scorers, Anthony Miles, Daniel Stewart, and Jimmy Taylor, 2 seniors and 1 freshman. Now, the second thing they need to do is to crash the glass very hard and get those rebounds so they could grab those extra offensive opportunities, because they're going to need that, especially with some injuries that have been nagging on the team in terms of the rebounding status. Now, Usman Drame is not 100%. Shaq Shannon is not fully 100% either. Neither is Kasim Chandler. But and he didn't play against Siena against Ryder. So the team needs to rebound well to get extra offensive opportunities, as I mentioned earlier. And finally, the third key, Gio, Quinnipiac needs to handle Ryder's full court press. They did not do this in their first game against Ryder at their place, which contributed to their loss back in December.
Thanks, Tom. We'll get back to you in a minute. But first, let's just see if your three keys could help Quinnipiac win this game against Ryder. The Bobcats trying to get their second straight win after winning an overtime thriller against Siena. And early in the first half, it was all Ryder. And some of the key players you mentioned, Tom, stuck out. So Khalil Thomas to Jimmy Taylor for the three. He drains it. Ryder taking an early lead and will continue to add on to it a couple of plays later. Daniel Stewart dribbles, pump fakes off the backboard for two. Bronx have a 6-point lead, but Quinnipiac will start to go on a run. Now Evan Conti drives to the lane to Ike Astam with the dunk, and the Bobcats only trail by one. Continuing the run, A.J. Sunbury misses a shot. He hustles to get the ball. Can't hold on to it, but Umar Shannon is right behind him to go to Evan Conti for the wide open three. He drains it. Quinnipiac takes a 30-27 lead. Seconds remaining in the first half. Umar Shannon off a screen from Astam to Zaid Hurst from the corner. Drains it. The Bobcats take a 34-27 lead going into halftime, and that would be Quinnipiac just continuing to dominate. Ike Astam trying to look for somebody. Nobody there. Gets the floater for two. Quinnipiac expanding their lead. And once again, Zaid Hurst trying to get the ball inside, goes to Conti, who drives down the lane, tipped by somebody to Usman Drame, who slams it home. Goes hard down to the ground, but the Bobcats continue to stretch the lead. Conti with a spin between two defenders, goes to his upper layup, it's good for two, and Quinnipiac defeats Ryder 82-61. And Tom, your big three for Ryder was held to a combined 34 points the whole entire game. Here is head coach Tom Moore after the game.
We talked a lot about some of the things we didn't do well. The first weekend in December down there at Ryder, the first time we played them. We weren't strong or tough enough on three of their top players down there, Danny Stewart and Anthony Miles and Jimmy Taylor. Put a lot of time and effort in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday into focusing on doing just a better job. We didn't strategically do a lot different. Did a few little wrinkle technical things differently. But for you guys who've seen us, you know we're pretty much just a half-court, straightforward, man-to-man team, and we're more mature and tougher than we were on December 5th or whatever day it was that we played them.
Now we bring back Tom Albanese to talk about after the Ryder game, my apologies. And so, Tom, your three keys to the game, it came out pretty good. So Quinnipiac wins nearly by 20 points. So let's talk about one of those three keys to the game, rebounding. How much of an impact do you think the rebounding has had in that game against Ryder? It
made a huge impact, Gio. The way this team has been rebounding, both offensively and defensively, has been really strong of late. Even though dating back to that game against Iona previously a couple weeks ago, that was their first time in 49 games where they just got out-rebounded, But in this game against Ryder, they did everything the right way that they didn't do back when they went to Ryder in December, as I mentioned earlier. They out-rebounded Ryder, and they were able to just really transition the ball well on the offensive end. And Ike Astam and Usman Drame and even A.J. Sunbury coming off the bench really supported the team on the rebounding end, and that's really the main part of the rebound that really helped them get that big victory over Ryder.
The MAC is not really known to be a rebounding conference. It's a heavy guard conference. Do you feel as though, thanks to that advantage for the Bobcats, it was part of the reason why they nearly dominated Ryder?
Well, First, I think it has to go to the rebounding, obviously, but the guard play definitely has been huge for the Bobcats in their first year in the MAC. Umar Shannon has been huge coming over to Quinnipiac in his graduate year. Just really done a great job scoring in double-digit points many times, including the game against Ryder. He had a good game as well. 5 Bobcats scored double digits in that game, and several of them were guards, including Evan Conti as well in that mix, and Shaq Shannon as well. So the guard play has been really big for the Bobcats, especially in that game against Ryder. And that, along with the rebounding, is going to have to be a huge key as the Bobcats continue their season with only 6 games left until the tournament begins. Going back to the rebounding topic, one person that's really dominating on the boards for the Bobcats this year, senior Ike Astam, who's putting up similar numbers to a former Quinnipiac player, Justin Ruddy, but we're not going to go to that comparison just yet. But, Tom, Ike has been on a tear all season long. What do you think he did in this offseason before entering the MAC for his first season to really become this type of aggressive force he is on the boards? Well, yeah, last year in his junior year, a really good year overall. Had a couple down moments, but overall not bad. Coming into the offseason, when Quinnipiac found out that it was going to be their first year in the MAC, he needed to get stronger. He needed to boost up his off-season workouts, get in the gym, like get stronger or whatnot. And he did that. And he's been looking really good right now. Almost averaging over a double-double per game. And that's been huge. Like he had like 6 double-doubles over the winter break as well, and he's just continued that success till now. And he's been one of the key reasons why Quinnipiac's near the top of the MAC standings.
Well, thank you, Tom, for stopping by. It's always been a pleasure.
Pleasure to be here.
Even after the win against Rider, Quinnipiac still finds themselves looking up in the conference regular season standings. Iona, winners of their last 7, leads the MAC with a 12-2 conference record. Under the Gales, Canisius and Manhattan are tied for second, and Quinnipiac's home victory leads the Bobcats in third, only half a game out. The loss to the Bobcats puts Rider a game behind Quinnipiac.
Well, Gio, moments ago at Lender Court, the men's team picked up a big win. The Bobcats took down the Marist Red Foxes 81-78. Umar Shannon led the team with 26 points, and Usman Drame picked up 13 rebounds in the game. The two teams were tied at halftime, but the Bobcats pulled away, outscoring the Red Foxes by 5 in the second half. The Bobcats will take on Fairfield on the road on Thursday.
3 Bobcats scored in double figures as the women's basketball team defeated Monmouth 83-67 last Friday. After QU started the game on a 6-0 run, Monmouth responded with a 24-10 run, but ended the first half tied. Quinnipiac then outscored the Hawks by 16 in the second half, led by Samantha Guastella's 24 points. In the winning effort, senior forward Brittany McQuain reached a new milestone, becoming the first Division I Quinnipiac player to have 1,000 points, rebounds, and 100 blocks in her career. Boo Abshire also made some moves in the Quinnipiac record book, recording 10 assists in the game, moving past Kara Cassidy for 4th all-time on Quinnipiac's assist leaderboard.
Well, Gio, coming off that game against Monmouth, Quinnipiac hosted Canisius at Lender Court. The game was held as a fundraiser for the K. Yao Cancer Fund. All tickets were priced at $1, and the proceeds were donated to the charity. On the court, however, it was all business, as Quinnipiac tried to inch closer to the third-place Fairfield Stags. Canisius, on the other hand, was looking to get back into the MAC race, as the conference championships approached quickly. Quinnipiac taking on Canisius at Lender Court in the play for K. Yao game in the first half. Quinnipiac will have the ball. It's Morgan Mance passing it to Brittany McQuain, and she misses the shot. And will be rebounded by Canisius. And this will be a story throughout the first half. Then Brittany McQuain getting the pass from Boo Abshire. McQuain driving, and she puts up the shot, and it doesn't go in. Canisius once again gets the rebound. Then later on in the first, Morgan Mance almost gets her pass intercepted, and she passes it to Nicoline Ostengard, and she misses the 3. The Quinnipiac shot was 6 for 3 in the first half. Canisius, on the other hand, did just fine. They were up 30-19 in the half and ended the first half on a 12-3 run. But there's 2 halves in the game, and let's look what happened in the second half. Early in the second half, Maria Napolitano gets a pass from Samantha Guastella, and she drains the tray, and it's 30-22. Then later on, Brittany McQuain gets a pass from Boo Abshire. She gets a shot, and it goes in, and then it is 30-24. A few plays later, Jasmine Martin gets a shot. It's no good, but Brittany McQuain gets the rebound, and she gets the basket. 30-26, Canisius. Quinnipiac will get the lead on a Nicoline Ostergaard layup and would not relinquish the lead. Later on in the second half, Ellen Cannon passes it to Brittany McQuain. There you see the pass there. She will get 2 of her 18 points on the day on that play, and the Bobcats will win 65-51 after being down by 11 at halftime. Here is Coach Tricia Fabry after the game.
Well, tale of 2 halves. We've been really putting together some real strong second halves, but we really got to get stretches of 40 minutes of basketball, playing really solid basketball for 40 minutes, not just 20 minutes, 17 minutes, 30 minutes. We've got a great opponent coming up in Marist, and we're going to need 40 minutes of really good, well-executed offense and really stingy defense to go up there and get a win on their home court.
With their recent hot streak, the women's basketball team find themselves tied for 3rd in the MAC with Fairfield. Since the Stags swept the Bobcats during the regular season, they currently own a tiebreaker. Just like with the men, Iona's women's basketball team is in first place as well, with defending conference champions Marist only 1 game behind. The Rider Bronx finished at the top 5 seeds with an 8-6 conference record.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, do not change that channel. Coming up after the break, we have an Olympic update on Quinnipiac women's hockey player Eric Uden Johansson as he tries to push Team Sweden to a gold medal. Plus, we have a look ahead to the men's and women's tennis seasons. All that and more coming up next on Sports Paws.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Emma Woods has had a remarkable rookie season, and for the 3rd time, she is recognized for it. Woods won the ECAC Rookie of the Week award for her performance last week against Dartmouth and Harvard. She earned the award by scoring in back-to-back games for the 2nd time in her career. The award puts her in his esteemed company. The 3rd award means she sits behind only decorated line mate Colin Babcock, who won the award 5 times in her rookie year.
The 8th-ranked women's ice hockey team traveled to New York this past weekend to face conference foes number 3 Clarkson and St. Lawrence. On Friday, the Bobcats and Golden Knights ended their contest in a 3-3 tie after Quinnipiac came back from a 2-goal deficit. However, their late-game heroics were a no-show against the Saints, getting shut out 3-0 the next day. St. Lawrence's Kaylee Heidersbach scored the first 2 goals for the Saints. Quinnipiac has not scored a power play goal in 7 games, going 0 for 25 in that span. The Bobcats look to rebound during their final home stretch next week, facing Yale on Friday and Brown Saturday as the team tries to make a push towards the NCAA tournament.
Like most teams at Quinnipiac, women's tennis is competing for the first time in a brand new conference, the MAC. This particular Bobcats team is expected to make an impact very quickly. The team was picked to win the conference in the preseason coaches poll, garnering 78 points. This was 7 more points than in-state rival Fairfield. The team came within 1 point of winning their 8th straight Northeast Conference championship last year.
Speaking of tennis, the men's tennis team suffered their 2nd dual-match loss this season against St. Joseph's 6-1 Friday afternoon. The Bobcats' only point came from number 3 singles, where Eric Ambrosio won in 2 consecutive 6-2 sets. The match gives St. Joseph's their first match win of the season. Quinnipiac rebounded the next day, defeating Delaware 4-3. Freshman Carlos Fernandez claimed the final point in a late comeback from the Bobcats, earning his first career win in the process. Quinnipiac takes a month off before going back to action on March 10th against South Dakota State.
The indoor track and field team shipped up to Boston on Friday to compete in the Valentine Invitational at Boston University. At the meet, 3 Quinnipiac competitors competed for the ECAC championships. Sophomores Shamil Samuels and Chelsea Savage each set personal bests at the tournament. In addition, junior Becca Stabile set a school record in the 500-meter run. That run was also good enough for an ECAC championship bid. The team will travel to the Armory in New York for the MAC championships on the 21st of February.
While the women's ice hockey team is playing top 10 hockey, a former player is making an impact in the Olympics. Erika Uden Johansson made her 2014 Olympic debut with Team Sweden in the team's 1-0 victory against Japan this past week. She registered a team-high 4 shots in the Group B opening round win. This is the 2nd Olympic appearance for Uden Johansson, the last one being in 2010. Uden Johansson and the Swedes will face Germany, who lost to Russia on Sunday, Tuesday morning.
Last year was a banner year for former Bobcat goaltender Erik Hartzell, a year that earned him a 2-year contract with the Pittsburgh Penguins of the NHL. Since beginning his professional career with the Penguins' American Hockey League affiliate Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, Hartzell has continued winning awards. The goaltender was recently named AHL Goaltender of the Month for the month of January. Hartzell posted a 5-2-0 record while not allowing more than 2 goals in each of his 10 appearances in January. And you know, Gio, I wonder, Erik Hartzell has won so many awards in the past year and a half. Do you think he has any more room on his mantle?
Arthur, There is no such thing as winning too many awards. But that will do it for this week's episode of Sports Paws. And for more information on Quinnipiac sports, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Q30 Sports. And for more Q30 coverage, check out our website at www.q30television.com.
He's Giovanni Mio. I'm Arthur Bailin. We bid you adieu.